All right, guys, Mr. Farmer here again. Today we're doing Chapter 16, Modify Commands, Section 2. All right, Chapter Objectives. Number 1, be able to use the Properties tool. Number 2, be able to use Match Properties and Object Properties. Number 3, know how to use Quick Properties. Number 4, know how to explode a polyline. Number 5, be able to align objects. Number 6, be able to use the P-edit option to modify polylines and convert lines and arcs to polylines. Number 7, be able to modify splines and use the spline edit tool. Number 8, be able to use the array edit tool. That's a really handy one. Number 9, be able to edit existing multi-lines using the multi-line edit tool. And number 10, know that composite regions can be created with union, subtract, and intersect. Lots of really helpful tools here that can benefit you as you get into some more advanced AutoCAD functionality. My recommendation, I think I mentioned this a couple of videos ago, before you take the reading quiz, take a look at Chapter 16. There's a lot of details here in the book, and I don't have time to get to everything in these 15-minute videos. So take a minute, flip through Chapter 16, and highlight or write down some tools that you think might be helpful or relevant, and I think you will be glad you did. Okay, so let's start out with a little introduction here. This chapter examines commands that are similar to, but generally more advanced and powerful than those discussed in Chapter 9, Modify Commands, Section 1, right? So we're stepping it up a bit. Several commands and features mentioned in Chapter 11, Layers and Object Properties, are explained completely in this chapter. So we didn't get it, if we didn't get to it in Chapter 9, we're going to get to it here, okay? Let's see here. Commands. If you want to change an object's layer, color, or line type only, the quickest method is to use the Object Properties toolbar. If you want to change a lot of properties of one or more objects altogether, including layer, color, line type, scale, text style, dimension style, or hatch type, then you can use the Match Properties tool. I'll show you that here in just a second. You can also double-click on any object, assuming double-click command is set to on value. Let's see here. And then another note, by changing an object's, well, we'll get to that here in just a second. Let's talk about properties. Here we go. If I type the word properties, boop, I get this nice little toolbar over here that tells me everything I want to know about anything I click on. For example, let's start with this red line right here. Click, check it out. I've got this bilayer red color, right? It is on the object layer. I've got my line type. Notice I can change these things here, right? I could make this a hidden line, a center line, anything like that. I could change the color while I'm here. Transparency, the thickness of the line. I could change the thickness if I wanted to. I don't know if that actually did anything. And then we've got some geometry. Where does it start? Where does it end? A lot of good measurements that you can use here, right? So that's properties, just typing the word properties. I'm going to close that out. The other thing I can do is I can just take my cursor and double-click on an object. Click, click, and I've got this condensed version of those same properties. So it is a line. It's got the color, it's got the layer, it's got the line type. I can change that here if I want to. And it's got the length of the line. That's a quick way to measure. Uh-oh, there we go. My goodness. Don't do that. Okay, so that is that. You can only use this double-click option if double-click edit is set to on, right? Right now it's set to on. If I go to double-click edit and set it to off, when I double-click something, nothing happens. So make sure that setting is on. Double-click is set to on. Very good. Okay, so just a minute ago you saw this layer tool, right? See this layer? By changing an object's layer, the selected object is effectively moved to the designated layer. In doing so, if the object's color, line type, and line weight are set to by layer, the object assumes the color, line type, and line weight of the layer to which it is moved, right? So it operates by different rules. So my layer is object right now. If I went to, I don't know, let's see, def points or something, this might have different rules that the line goes by, right? And there's layer, color, line type, scale, thickness, line weight, all kinds of stuff you can get into. Okay. We talked about properties. You can just type in properties. That is an option. You can double click. We talked about double click edit. Okay. This is one of my favorite tools. This is called match properties. So if I type in match for match properties or just match prop, or you can type in MA, right? You can find some formatting that you want. Like, for example, see this yellow dashed line? I can click that, and then I can essentially paint that format onto anything I want, right? I can make all of these yellow dashed lines, right? It's like a format painter. I could also match. I could say this green center line, I want that to be a green center line, and this to be a green center line. And it matches the layers as well, right? That is called match properties. Match properties is used to paint the properties of one object to another. You select the source object, right? The desired properties first, and then the next thing you click is the destination object where you want to paint the properties to, right? This works for color, layer, line type, scale, thickness, transparency, line weight, and plot style. Also works for dimension, text, hatch, polyline, viewport, table, material, center object, and multi-leader. It's a lot to cover, but match properties, very handy tool, very handy tool. All right, let's talk about change. Change. What is the change tool? The change tool is an old command that allows you to change properties in command line format, right? You can change points, such as the endpoint of a line, or you can change properties. So if I type in change, and then let's say I select an object here, right? Ta-da! I can change like an endpoint, right? I can take and form a new endpoint if I wanted to. Change. Right here. Yep. Specify endpoint. Or I can go here, right? And say properties. I can go right in there. So this is kind of an old way of doing it, but I can change all of this here. Very good. That is the change. It's an old tool. All right, quick properties. Quick properties is not a command, but it's a feature that allows you to access and change only a few properties of the selected objects. So that's what we talked about earlier. If you just double click, this condensed down version, that's kind of a quick properties. Okay, let's talk about some more fun stuff. I'm going to go over here to some blank space. I'm going to draw a polyline here. So a polyline, you will recall, is this line which is made up of multiple lines, right? Great, that is a polyline. So it's all one unit, right? That's the benefit of a polyline. Well, let's say we needed to take this and make it into separate sections, right? There's a tool for that. It's called explode, right? Explode, and I can select this object, and now it's all these individual lines. There's a line, there's a line, there's a line. I could delete that one. I could delete that one. So explode. It takes a polyline and breaks it down into its component segments, right? The explode command provides you with means of breaking down or exploding the complex shape from one object into many component objects. So here, let's do another example here. Let's do a polygon, right? So let's say I've got this 8-sided polygon, and it is here, right? Well, I've drawn it as a polygon, so it's all one unit, right? See when I roll my cursor over that, it all highlights. Well, let's say I want to have a section of this. Well, let's do this. Let's use a tool that we like. Match, right? See this yellow line here? Ta-da! I want to make this a yellow line, but just this segment, right? But notice if I do this, since it's a polygon, the whole thing takes on the property, right? Well, I could use the explode command, break this down into individual lines, and then I could use that match again to just paint the format on that one line. I hope you see the benefit of that. The explode tool, right? The Align tool. Let's talk about the Align tool. Hopefully I can draw this out in some way that makes sense. We'll see. So let's say I have this poorly drawn thing here, and then I have this square that I want to fit inside of it. Oh dear. That's not what I wanted to do. Okay, so the Align tool provides a means of aligning one shape, a simple object or a group of objects, polyline, boundary, region, block, or 3D object, with another shape. So let's say I've done a horrible job of explaining this here. Let's just try this out. If I want to try to align this to here using this point and this point, it will, oh my goodness, I've done a horrible job of explaining this. Okay, we're going to go back and work on that a little bit later. I'll cover it in class. Just know that the Align tool provides a way of aligning one shape into another, right? First, the first source point is connected to, actually touches, the first destination point, causing a translation, a movement. Next, the vector defined by the first and second source point is aligned with the vector defined by the first and second destination point, causing a rotation. So basically what would happen is this thing would move down into this corner and then rotate down to fit in where you want it to fit in. It's kind of a Tetris-y kind of thing. Okay, sorry, done a horrible job of explaining that one. All right, let's get back to it. Let's see here. P-edit is polyline edit, right? So we have this polyline here. Nope. Let's draw a polyline. So this is a polyline. It is made up of multiple line segments, but it's considered one object. So I can go to Polyline Edit, select this, and I can do all kinds of stuff here. This is super handy. I can close, join, with, edit vertex, fit, spline, decurve, whatever. So there's a lot of tools you need to see here. Let's just mess around with it. What happens if I choose close? Ta-da! It closes the polyline. Oh, that's fancy. So let's do another polyline. Here we go. Let's do that polyline, and I'm going to use the polyline edit, P-edit, for this. Uh-oh, P-edit. Was that not a polyline? Let's try this again. Okay, that's a polyline. P-edit, ta-da. And then, let's see, I can do, what's one I want to do here? Let's see. Spline. Check it out. It takes that linear polyline and converts it into a spline. That's super helpful. So there is join that combines the two ends. There's extend. There's add, both, with. There's fit. This option converts the polyline from straight line segments to arcs. There's spline, which is similar. There's decurve. Decurve removes the spline or fit curve and returns the spline to the original straight. So let's take a look at that one. Polyline, right? And we'll decurve. Ha! It goes right back to its linear line segments. Very handy, right? There's also vertex editing. So that covers the next tool, break, insert, move, straighten, tangent. All kinds of really, really helpful tools. So to do that, polyline edit, you can go to edit vertex. Here we go, edit vertex. And you can choose a vertex, right? And you can break, insert, move, you can straighten, you can tangent a vertex, right? All kinds of helpful tools that you can use for polyline edit. Let's see here. Converting lines and arcs to polylines. A very important and productive feature of polyline edit is the ability to convert lines and arcs to polylines. So in the same way that we exploded, let's take a look at this. Let's say I've got this, well, let's use this. I'm going to match this to this, right? Very good. How am I doing on time? Oh my goodness, I've got to hurry. And I can actually use this this polyline edit tool to create polylines. Yes, I want to turn this into a polyline. Yes. Right? There you go. Okay, so that is polylines. There's also a tool called blend. This is important. Let's talk about this one. I know I'm probably going over on my time. I apologize. So the blend tool, what does the blend tool do? This command blends the gap between two selected lines or curves by adding a spline. So let's go blend, first object, second object. Do you see how that would be handy? So let's say we've got these lines here, and we need to close this shape in, right? I can use the blend tool to use splines to close that in. Another advanced tool that might come in handy. Oh, that came out weird, but you get the idea. Okay, let's see, last one, and then this video will be over. This is called the multi-line edit tool. So there's this thing called multi-line, right? Let's go scale 10, where you can draw multiple lines at a time. I don't know if you guys have seen this or not, right? But you can picture like roadways, right? Let's do this again, and let's say we've got roads that are crossing, right? This is a cross in the road. You can use multi-line edit, ML edit, and it gives you options for how to deal with these cross points, right? So let's say I want them to just be open. I can open that up. I can open up that intersection, right? Or multi-line edit, right? Uh-oh. I can choose, let's see, I can choose a closed cross, right? So then the first one that's selected becomes the one that gets crossed. That's the multi-line edit tool. There's closed cross, open cross, merge cross. There's all kinds of ways to do it. And then the last one that we'll cover here, no, there's a few more. Overkill. Overkill. Overkill automatically removes duplicate or overlapping lines, arcs, or polylines. In addition, if partially overlapping or contiguous lines, arcs, and polylines are selected, they will be combined to become one object. The overkill tool. I suggest you try that one out. Overkill, right? And then you can remove your duplicates, your overkilled stuff. Okay, union. Let's talk about union. Let's say we have this square and this circle, right? The union tool. The union combines two or more regions, that's these are regions, into one region or solid. The resulting composite region has an encompassing perimeter and area the same as the original one. So let's try union tool, and we're going to select this object and this object. And now, let's see here, they're one object, right? You can also subtract. Let's see, subtract. So we're going to subtract, let's see here, from and to. This is being persnickety. Keep in mind that multiple regions can be selected as the set to keep or as the set to remove, right? So let's see here. What am I doing wrong? Select. Okay, this might be one that we have to go over in class. I don't want to tie up any more of your time with this video. Just know that union and subtract are two tools that you can use to modify the region commands. I'll probably post an additional video. I'm running really short on time here. This has been a long one. So I'm going to sign off for now. Thanks for watching. If you have questions, feel free to shoot me an email at any time. Thank you.